life. Life's got a way of knocking us down. Sometimes it feels like the punches just keep coming, right? But let me tell you something, you're not alone in that fight. We all stumble, we all trip, we all fall flat on our faces at some point. And guess what? That's not what defines us. What defines us is what we do after the fall. Let me tell you something, failure is a teacher. The best one you'll ever have. See, most folks look at failure and they run. They hide. They think it's something to be ashamed of, something to avoid. But those who understand life, they know better. They know that failure is part of the process. It's a part of growth. You see, when you fall, when you mess up, it feels like the end of the world. But here's the truth that mistake. It's just the beginning. It's the starting point of something bigger. Because failure has a way of humbling you. It strips you down to the core, exposes your weaknesses, shows you where you need to get better. And if you're paying attention, if you're willing to learn from it, that's where the magic happens. Most people think success is a straight line. They look at someone who made it and say, oh, they had it all figured out. But what they don't see are the countless times that person fell, the nights they spent questioning themselves, the moments they doubted whether they were even cut out for this. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of success. You can't have one without the other. Think about it, every time you fail, you gain something, you gain experience, you gain perspective, you learn what doesn't work, and more importantly, you get a clearer sense of what does work. That's the beauty of failure. It gives you knowledge that no book, no teacher, no mentor can provide. It's firsthand. It's real. It's raw. And that pain you feel when you fail, that's temporary. That sting of defeat, it fades. But the lessons, the wisdom you gain from that fall, that stays with you. It builds you up, makes you stronger, sharper. Failure isn't a dead end, it's a detour. It redirects you, puts you back on course, and sometimes even takes you to a place you didn't know you needed to be. But here's the catch, most people don't want to sit with failure long enough to learn from it. They want to skip past it, pretend it didn't happen, they get embarrassed. But you can't grow like that. You've got to lean into it. You've got to own it. You've got to ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Because I guarantee you, every failure comes with a lesson. And that lesson, that's what prepares you for the next step, the next level. You can't become great by being perfect. You become great by falling, by failing, by getting back up and doing it again. And every time you do, you're not just recovering, you're evolving. You're growing into the person you were meant to be. So don't run from failure. Don't fear it. Embrace it. Because when you do, you'll find that failure wasn't the enemy. After all, it was your greatest ally. It was your greatest ally. It was the thing that pushed you, shaped you, and prepared you for everything that's coming. Failure is not a reason to quit. It's a reason to keep going. And once you understand that, once you see that failure is part of the process, part of the journey, then you'll realize it was never about the fall. It was always about the rise, always. Success. Everybody wants it, but not everyone's willing to face what it really takes to get there. See, what most people don't tell you is that behind every moment of glory, every shining achievement, there's a trail of setbacks, of failures, of hard times that most folks never see. They see the spotlight, the applause, the victory, but they don't see the grind, the nights you're doubting yourself, the moments you're flat on your back wondering if it's even worth it. But here's the truth, you cannot have success without setbacks. It's impossible. It's part of the journey, part of the process. It's the resistance that makes you stronger. It's like working a muscle. You don't get stronger by lifting light weights. You get stronger by pushing yourself, by going through the pain, by feeling that burn. And life works the same way. The road to success isn't straight, and it's sure as hell not easy. There's going to be bumps, detours, dead ends, and obstacles. Sometimes you'll feel like you're making progress, like you're finally getting somewhere, and then bam, something knocks you off course. And that's when most people give up. That's when they throw in the towel because they think a setback means they're not cut out for it. But that's not how it works. You see, a setback is just a setup for a comeback. Every time you're knocked down, every time something doesn't go your way, Life is asking you a question: how bad do you really want this? Because if you're not willing to face the setbacks, you don't deserve the success. That's just the truth of it. Look at anyone who's achieved anything great, and I promise you, they face setbacks that would have made most people quit. They've been rejected, they've failed, they've lost over and over again. But the difference is they didn't stay down. They took that setback, learned from it, and kept moving forward. That's the secret. It's not about avoiding the setbacks, it's about using them as fuel, as motivation, as a reminder that you're still in the game. Setbacks aren't a sign that you're on the wrong path. In fact, they're often a sign that you're on the right path. The path that's challenging you, pushing you to grow. If you're not hitting walls, if you're not facing obstacles, you're not dreaming big enough. You're playing it safe, and success doesn't come to those who play it safe. It comes to those who are willing to risk it all to go after what they want with everything they've got, knowing full well that they might fall short 100 times before they make it. And let me tell you, those setbacks, they teach you something success never could. They teach you resilience. They teach you patience. They teach you how to pick yourself up, how to dig deep when there's nothing left, how to fight for what you want even when it feels like the whole world is against you. Those setbacks, they shape you. They refine you. They make you stronger, smarter, and more determined. Success doesn't just happen because you're talented or lucky. It happens because you're willing to keep going, to keep fighting, even when the odds aren't in your favor. It happens because you've got the guts to get back up time and time again when most people would have walked away. And that's what separates the winners from everyone else. It's not the absence of setbacks. It's the ability to turn those setbacks into stepping stones. So the next time you hit a wall, the next time life throws something at you that you didn't see coming, don't get discouraged. Don't think for a second that it's a sign you should quit. No, it's life testing you, asking you if you've got the heart to keep going. And if you do, if you can push through those setbacks, if you can rise after every fall, then you'll find that success was never out of reach. It was always waiting for you on the other side of the struggle. Life is going to knock you down. That's a fact. No one gets through this journey without falling at some point. But the question isn't whether you'll fall, it's whether you'll get back up. And let me tell you, that's where real strength lies. Not in how many times you can avoid getting knocked down, but in how many times you get back up no matter how hard you fall. It's easy to stay down when life hits you. That's the easy part. When you're on the ground, when you're at your lowest, it can feel like the safest place to be. You don't have to face the struggle, the fear, the uncertainty. But staying down, that's a slow death. Staying down is giving up. And anyone can give up. That takes nothing. But getting back up, that takes heart. That takes courage. That takes something deep inside you, something that says, I'm not done yet. I've got more in me, because getting back up means you believe in yourself, even when the world is giving you every reason not to. It means you refuse to let failure define you. You refuse to let one moment, one setback, one mistake be the end of your story. See, strength isn't about muscles or toughness. Real strength is in your spirit. It's in your ability to keep going when everything around you is telling you to quit. It's in your ability to stand back up after life has knocked the wind out of you, after you've been through hell and back, and say, I'm still here. I'm still standing. And here's the thing, you're going to fall more than once. Life's not just going to knock you down one time and leave you alone. No, it's going to come at you again and again. But every time you get back up, you're proving to yourself just how strong you are. You're building resilience. You're building character. And every time you rise a little stronger, a little wiser. Most people look at someone who's made it, someone who's successful, and they think it came easy for them. But what they don't see is all the times that person was knocked down, all the times they had to pick themselves up when nobody else believed in them. They don't see the scars, the bruises, the nights spent wondering if they'd ever make it. But the truth is, those moments, the moments when you've been knocked down, they are what shape you. They're what make you strong. They're what prepare you for everything that's waiting on the other side. Getting back up doesn't mean you forget the pain. It doesn't mean you ignore what knocked you down. No, you take it with you. You carry those lessons, those experiences with you. They become a part of you. And the next time life tries to knock you down, you'll be ready because you've been there before, you've faced it, you've overcome it. And now you know what you're capable of. It's in the moments of defeat that your true strength is revealed. Anyone can keep going when things are easy, when the road is smooth. But when things get tough, when the road gets rocky, when you've been knocked to the ground, that's when you find out who you really are. That's when you find out what you're made of. Getting back up isn't about proving anything to anyone else. It's about proving something to yourself. It's about telling yourself, I'm not giving up on me. It's about knowing that no matter how many times life tries to keep you down, you've got it in you to rise again and again and again. So when you fall, because you will, don't stay down. Don't let that fall define you. Let your comeback define you. Let your rise be the thing people remember. Because every time you get back up, you're telling the world, I'm still in the fight. And that's where real strength lies. It's not in the fall. It's in the rise. Struggle. We all go through it, but not everyone knows how to embrace it. Most people spend their whole lives trying to avoid it, trying to run from the discomfort, the pain, the uncertainty. But here's the truth. The struggle is where you find yourself, it's in the middle of the fight. When things are messy, when the road seems dark, that you discover what you're really made of. See, the struggle isn't something to fear. It's something to face head on. It's life's way of testing you, shaping you, refining you into the person you were always meant to be. The struggle is the process. You can't bypass it. You can't take shortcuts. Every hardship, every challenge, it's all part of the journey. People think that success, happiness, growth, they come without pain, but that's not how it works. Nothing worth having comes easy. If you want to achieve anything in life, if you want to grow, to evolve, you have to be willing to face the struggle. You have to be willing to go through the fire, knowing full well that it's going to hurt, knowing full well that it's going to test you. Because it's in that fire that you're being forged. Look at anyone who's accomplished something great. I guarantee you they've been through hell. They faced struggles that would have broken most people. But instead of running from it, instead of letting the struggle define them, they embraced it. They used it. They let it make them stronger. They understood that the struggle wasn't an obstacle, it was the way forward. The struggle teaches you things that comfort never could. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you patience. It teaches you how to push through when everything in you wants to quit. It shows you that you're capable of more than you ever imagined. When you embrace the struggle, you stop running from your fears, your doubts, your weaknesses. You face them. You look them in the eye and say, I'm not afraid of you. I'm ready. And here's the thing, the struggle doesn't last forever, but the lessons you learn from it, they do. The strength you gain from fighting through the hard times, that stays with you. The wisdom you earn, that becomes a part of you. The struggle might feel like it's breaking you, but really it's building you. It's shaping you into someone who can handle whatever life throws your way. Too many people quit when the struggle comes. They think it's too hard. I wasn't meant for this, but that's exactly when you're on the verge of a breakthrough. Right when it gets toughest, right when you're ready to give up. That's when you're closest to leveling up. But most people never find out because they stop before they even see the light at the end of the tunnel. But if you can embrace the struggle, if you can dig deep and keep going when things get tough, you'll find that the struggle isn't something that's holding you back. It's pushing you forward. It's pushing you to grow, to evolve, to become the person you were meant to be. Struggle makes you appreciate the victory. It makes you appreciate the moments when you finally come out on the other side, stronger, wiser, more prepared for whatever comes next. Without the struggle, the win wouldn't mean as much. It wouldn't taste as sweet. The struggle gives the victory its value. So when life gets hard, when things aren't going your way, don't run, don't hide. Embrace it. Lean into it. Understand that this is part of your journey. This is part of your story. And when you come out on the other side, you won't just have survived it, you'll have grown from it. You'll have learned from it. You'll have become someone who knows their own strength, who knows what they're capable of. The struggle isn't your enemy. It's your ally. It's your teacher. It's your guide. And if you embrace it, if you welcome it, you'll find that you're capable of far more than you ever thought possible. So don't run from the struggle. Embrace it. Because on the other side of the struggle, that's where you find your power. That's where you find your greatness. Life is about taking risks. If you want something, you've got to go after it with everything you've got. But here's the deal. You can't play it safe and expect greatness. No risk, no reward, That's just how the world works. If you're afraid to step out of your comfort zone, afraid to take chances, then you're never going to reach the heights you're capable of. Playing it safe keeps you right where you are, but if you want something more, something bigger, then you've got to be willing to risk something. Most people want success. They want the reward, but they're not willing to gamble on themselves. They want a guarantee. They want to know that everything's going to work out before they even try. But let me tell you something, life doesn't work that way. You don't get guarantees. You don't get certainty. What you get is a choice: stay where you are, or take the risk and reach for something greater. And that choice, that's where your destiny lies. Taking risks means stepping into the unknown. It means putting yourself out there, not knowing how it's going to end. And yeah, that's scary. Fear is real. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of falling flat on your face. It's all part of the game. But if you let that fear stop you, you'll never know what could have been. You'll never know what you were truly capable of because you never gave yourself the chance to find out. And here's the truth: every risk comes with a chance of failure. That's the nature of it. But failure, that's not something to be afraid of. Failure is just part of the process. You can't win every time. You're going to stumble. You're going to fall. But that's not the point. The point is that you dared to try. You dared to dream. You dared to take the leap when others were too scared to even step to the edge. Look, nobody who ever did anything great did it by playing it safe. They took risks. They bet on themselves when no one else would. They faced down their fears, their doubts, the voices in their head telling them they couldn't do it, and they went for it anyway. And that's why they succeeded. Not because they were guaranteed success, but because they were willing to risk failure for a shot at something bigger. If you want the reward, the success, the achievement, the dream life, you've got to be willing to put something on the line. You've got to be willing to fail. You've got to be willing to face that fear head on and say, I'm going after this anyway. Because that's what separates those who dream from those who achieve. It's the willingness to risk something, to take a chance, to put everything on the line, because deep down you know that the reward is worth it. And here's the thing, most of the time, the biggest risks come with the biggest rewards. When you put yourself out there, when you step into the unknown, that's where the real magic happens. That's where you grow. That's where you discover new parts of yourself, new strengths, new abilities that you never even knew you had. But you'll never find those things if you're too scared to take that first step. Risk is the price you pay for progress. It's the price you pay for growth, for success, for greatness. Without risk, you stay exactly where you are. You stay in your comfort zone, doing the same things, living the same life year after year. But if you're willing to take a risk, if you're willing to step out and chase what you really want, despite the fear, despite the uncertainty, that's when you start to see real change. That's when the doors of opportunity start to open. So ask yourself, what are you willing to risk for the life you want? What are you willing to put on the line for your dreams? Because if you're not willing to take risks, then you're not really living. You're just existing. And the difference between the two is everything. Don't be afraid to take the risk. Don't be afraid to fail. Failure isn't the end, it's part of the journey. But if you never take the chance, if you never risk anything, you'll never know what's possible. You'll never know how far you could have gone, how high you could have climbed. No risk, no reward. That's the rule of life. If you want more, you've got to risk more. It's as simple as that. But here's the good news. When you do take that risk, when you do go after what you want, that's when you start to see the real reward. That's when life starts to open up, when opportunities start to appear that you never could have imagined. And that's when you realize that the risk, it was worth every single step. Belief, it's one of the most powerful forces on this earth. What you believe shapes everything about your life, your actions, your choices, your mindset, even your destiny. People talk about talent, about luck, about timing, but none of that matters if you don't believe in yourself first. Because without belief, all the talent in the world won't take you anywhere. Belief is where everything begins. It's the foundation. It's that quiet, unshakable voice inside you that says, I can do this even when the odds are stacked against you. Even when everyone around you is telling you it can't be done. Belief is what keeps you moving forward when the world is trying to push you back. But here's the thing, belief isn't just about saying you have faith in yourself. It's about living like you do. It's about waking up every day with the conviction that no matter how hard it gets, no matter how many obstacles stand in your way, you're going to find a way through. That's the power of belief. It's a force that drives you, that keeps you going long after others have given up. The truth is, most people don't believe in themselves. They doubt their own abilities. They let fear, insecurity, and the opinions of others hold them back. And because they don't believe they can succeed, they never really try. They play small, they settle. But belief, it breaks through all of that. Belief shatters limits because when you truly believe in yourself, there's nothing you won't attempt. There's nothing you'll shy away from. Belief doesn't mean you won't face setbacks or challenges. It doesn't mean the path will be easy. What it means is that when the challenges come and you won't be shaken. You won't quit. Because deep down, you know that no matter what, you're going to figure it out. You'll find a way. You trust yourself to keep going, to push through, to learn, to grow, and ultimately to succeed. And here's the real beauty of belief. It's contagious. When you believe in yourself, other people start to believe in you too. When they see that fire in your eyes, that conviction, that refusal to back down, they start to believe that maybe, just maybe, you really can pull it off. But it starts with you. If you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else? You see, belief gives you the courage to take risks. It gives you the strength to step into the unknown, to chase after your dreams even when they seem impossible. When you believe in yourself, you're willing to face failure because you know that failure isn't the end. It's just a part of the process. Belief allows you to bounce back when things go wrong, to keep fighting when life knocks you down because, you know, deep in your bones that you're capable of rising again. Belief is powerful because it transforms your actions. When you believe something is possible, you move differently. You work differently. You carry yourself with confidence, with purpose. You stop hesitating, stop second-guessing yourself. You start taking bold steps forward. You make decisions from a place of certainty because you trust that you have what it takes to succeed. But here's the thing, belief isn't something that just shows up one day. It's something you have to cultivate. You have to build it, nurture it, protect it, because life will try to take it from you. Doubts will creep in. People will tell you that you're dreaming too big, that you're aiming too high. And that's when belief is most important. That's when you have to hold on to it the tightest, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. Because belief is what keeps you steady in the storm. It's what anchors you when things get tough. It's that inner compass that keeps you moving forward, even when you can't see the way ahead. Belief gives you the vision to see beyond the obstacles, beyond the setbacks, to the destination you're headed toward. So if you want to achieve something great, if you want to create a life you're proud of, it starts with belief, not just a vague hope or wishful thinking, but a deep, unwavering belief in yourself. A belief that says, I am capable, I am worthy. I can do this. And once you have that, once you truly believe in yourself, the world opens up in ways you never imagined. Doors you thought were locked start to swing open. Opportunities you didn't think were possible start to appear. Because belief creates momentum. It creates energy. It propels you forward, even when the odds seem impossible. So believe in yourself, not just when things are going well, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Especially when you're facing setbacks. Because that's when belief matters most. And with belief, there's nothing you can't do. There's no dream too big, no goal too far. The power of belief is limitless. And once you tap into it, you'll find that the world starts to move in ways that you never thought possible. Your story isn't over yet. I don't care what you've been through, what mistakes you've made, or how many times you've been knocked down. Your story is still unfolding, and the next chapter is waiting for you to write it. Too many people give up too soon. They hit a rough patch, they face setbacks, and they think that's it. I'm done. I've reached the end of the line, but that's not how life works. As long as you're breathing, you've got another shot, another chance to turn things around, to change your narrative. See, the thing about life is that it's full of twists and turns. Sometimes things don't go the way you plan. Sometimes the road you thought would lead you to your dreams takes you through places you never wanted to go. But that doesn't mean your story is over. That doesn't mean you've reached the end. No, those moments, the moments of struggle, the moments of doubt, the moments when it feels like everything's falling apart, they are just part of your journey. They're part of your story. And it's those very moments that make the victory sweeter when you finally rise. What you have to understand is that every setback, every failure, every hardship is just a chapter. It's not the whole book. You can't judge your entire story by one bad moment, one tough season. There's so much more to come. Your story is still being written, and you have the power to shape it. The pen is in your hands. Sometimes we get stuck thinking that where we are right now is where we'll always be. That because things are hard today, they'll always be hard. But that's not the truth. Life is full of seasons. And just like the seasons change, so will your circumstances. The storm you're in right now won't last forever. The darkness will pass. But you have to believe that. You have to know that even when things look bleak, even when it feels like you can't go on, your story is far from over. Look at anyone who's achieved something great. Their stories are filled with moments where it looked like they had failed, like they had reached the end. But what did they do? They kept going. They didn't let that moment define them. They didn't close the book on themselves. They turned the page and kept writing. And because they didn't quit, because they didn't stop, they got to experience the part of the story where everything changed. The part where all the pain, all the struggle, all the setbacks led to something greater. You see, it's easy to think that when things go wrong, when life doesn't go the way you expected, that you've lost. But what you don't realize is that sometimes the very things that feel like they're breaking you are the things that are building you. They're preparing you for what's next. They're shaping you into the person you need to be for the next chapter of your life. And here's the truth, you're the author of your own story. You get to decide how it ends. You get to decide what happens next. Life might throw obstacles in your way, but you get to choose how you respond. You get to choose whether you let those obstacles stop you or whether you use them as fuel to push forward. No matter where you are right now, no matter how hard things have been, you have the power to turn the page. You have the power to change your story. It's never too late. You're not too far gone. You haven't made too many mistakes. You haven't failed too many times. As long as you have breath in your body, you have the ability to rewrite your story, to create a new path, to rise above whatever has tried to hold you back. You have to believe that. You have to hold on to the fact that no matter how dark things seem, no matter how many times you've fallen, your story isn't over. There's more for you. There are more victories ahead, more moments of joy, more achievements waiting for you to step into them. But you have to keep going. You have to refuse to let this moment, this chapter, be the end of your story. And here's the thing, your story is unique. It's yours. No one else can live it for you. No one else can write it for you. You've got to own it. You've got to own it. You've got to embrace every part of it, the good and the bad, the highs and the lows, because all of it is part of what makes you who you are. All of it is part of your journey. So don't let one bad chapter convince you that the book is over. Don't let one failure, one mistake, one disappointment make you close the door on your dreams. Your story is still being written, and the best parts are still to come. Keep going, keep writing, keep believing in yourself. Because when you look back one day, you'll see that every struggle, every setback, every hardship was leading you to something greater. You'll see that your story was never about the falls, it was about the rise. It was about how no matter what life threw at you, you never gave up. You never stopped writing. And that's where the power is. Knowing that your story isn't over yet. Knowing that you still have more to give, more to achieve, more to live for. So keep going, keep writing. The best is yet to come.so. Why do we fall? To show ourselves, to show the world, to show life that no matter how many times we're knocked down, we've got it in us to rise stronger, wiser, better. That's the power of perseverance. That's the power of belief. That's the power inside you.